If your TypeScript code has too many duplicated interfaces, this video will fix that. We'll go through 15 practical utility type examples you can use in real projects, from API data to React props and async functions. We start with utility types that reshape objects. These are the ones you reach for when data is almost the same shape, but not exactly the same. When a user edits a profile, the client should not have to resend the full user object. Here we define the full user type, then make the patch parameter partial user so any subset of valid user fields is accepted. Now we run the script and look at the merged object. Let's break down why this result is useful. The patch only contains display name, but TypeScript still knows it must be a real field from user. At runtime, the spread keeps ID, email, and isadmin from the original object, then replaces only the field we provided. The best practice here is to use partial for update inputs, not for your main stored model. Apply the patch at the boundary, then return a complete domain object so later code can stay simple and strict. App settings usually come from environment variables, files, or CLI flags, so some fields may be missing at first. We accept app config with optional port and log level, then return required app config after applying defaults. Now we run it and confirm the service receives a complete config. Let's break down the shape change. The input type allows missing values because callers may not provide every setting. The output type is stricter because after normalization, the app should not keep checking whether port or log level exists. The best practice is to use required at the moment where uncertain input becomes trusted configuration. That keeps the messy optional state near the boundary and lets the rest of your application work with complete values. Order totals are calculated facts, so later code should not casually rewrite them. We return realize order summary, and the commented line shows the kind of mutation TypeScript would block. Now we run the safe version and inspect the summary. Let's break down what realize actually protects. It does not freeze the object at runtime by itself, but it tells TypeScript that callers are not allowed to reassign properties. That is perfect for results like summaries, reports, and calculated DTOs. The best practice is to return realize data when the caller should treat it as a finished result. Use it to communicate intent clearly, especially around calculated values that should not be edited after creation. Next, we move to API data modeling. These examples show how utility types help you expose the right fields and accept the right payloads. When returning users from an API, we must not leak password hashes or internal account flags. Here we define the larger internal user type, then use pick to create a public user with only ID, email, and display name. Now we run it and check the response shape. Let's break down the safety here. Public user is derived from internal user, so if the selected field types change, the DTO stays aligned, but sensitive fields stay out because pick only includes the keys we name. The best practice for public API responses is to allow list fields with pick. That makes the safe response shape explicit and avoids accidentally exposing private fields from your internal model. When creating a product, the client should send business fields like name and price, not ID or timestamps. We use Omit to remove the server-generated fields from product and build the create input type. Now we run the code and see the backend add the missing fields. Let's break down the model relationship. Product is the complete persisted shape, while create product input is the client payload shape. Omit keeps the two connected, but prevents callers from providing values the backend should generate. The best practice is to use omit when a type is almost right except for fields owned by the server. This avoids duplicate input interfaces that slowly drift away from the real persisted model. Now we move into utility types that make collections safer. These examples are about replacing loose objects with types that catch missing cases before the app runs. In a checkout flow, we often need to convert internal statuses into labels and colors for the UI. Let's write that as a typed lookup table with record, then run the script and check that every status prints the right metadata. Let's break down why this works. Payment status is a union of allowed keys, and record turns that union into a required object shape. That means missing paid or failed is no longer a runtime surprise. It becomes a compile time problem. Now let's show the best way to use this pattern. Reach for record when the keys are known ahead of time, and missing cases should fail during development, not after a user opens the page. Next, we handle values that may be missing. The goal is to make runtime validation and TypeScript's type system agree with each other. External API config is a perfect place for this pattern. because a missing value should stop the app early. Let's create a helper that accepts an optional string, validates it, returns a clean value, and then we run both the success and failure paths. Let's break down the important part. Non-nullable does not magically check the value for us. The if statement does that. After the check, the return type honestly represents the clean value. Now let's show the best practice. Use non-nullable after a real validation boundary like config loading, request parsing, or form validation. Do not use it to pretend a nullable value is safe before it has been checked. Now we use function utility types to keep wrappers, caches, and derived data synchronized with real implementation code. In real apps, a service often prepares data before the UI sees it, and then that result may be cached. Let's derive the cache value type directly from the service function, then run the script and inspect the cached view model. Let's break down why this is useful. The object returned by build user view model defines the shape, and return type captures that exact shape. The cache can now stay synchronized without a second manually written interface. Now let's show the best practice for this pattern. Use return type when the implementation is the real contract, especially for view models, selectors, mappers, and factory functions. It keeps the type close to the code that actually creates the data. Payment code is a realistic place to add logging without changing business logic. Let's wrap charge card with log charge, reuse the original parameters, and then run it to see the log and result together. Let's break down the wrapper. The rest parameter is not manually typed. It comes from parameters of charge card, so if the original function later supports another currency or adds an argument, TypeScript guides the wrapper update. Now let's show where this is the best option. Use parameters for decorators, wrappers, adapters, and logging layers around existing functions. It avoids duplicated signatures and keeps the wrapper honest. Finally, we handle async return values. This is where utility types help keep promise-based data models clean and reusable. Repository functions usually fetch data asynchronously, but our rendering function needs the data after the promise resolves. Let's fetch a small order list, derive the resolved type with awaited and return type, then run it and print a CLI report. Let's break down the type. Return type gives us the type returned by fetch orders, which is a promise. Awaited unwraps that promise. So print orders receives the real array type, not the promise wrapper. Now let's show the best practice. Use awaited with return type when an async function already defines the data shape and you want another function to consume that resolved value. This avoids copying the order type into multiple places. In this section, we combine utility types instead of using them one at a time. This is where TypeScript starts matching real business rules more closely. Checkout forms often save drafts before the user fills every field. So instead of making the whole checkout form optional, we first pick only the fields that can be saved as a draft, then wrap them with partial. Now we run the script and the terminal shows only the values the user has typed so far. Let's break down why this works. Pick creates a smaller shape from checkout form, and partial says every field in that smaller shape can be missing. The result matches a real draft. Incomplete, but still limited to fields we actually allow. Now we show the best way to use this pattern. Use composed utility types when the rule has two parts, which fields are allowed, and whether those fields are required. This keeps the type close to the business rule instead of creating a loose object type. Now we move to union utilities. These are especially useful when one internal type is too broad for every public API or handler. Order systems usually track internal states that customers should never see. Here we define one broad order status union, then use exclude to remove internal review and fraud check from the public type. Now we run it and the output contains only customer-facing labels. Let's break down why the formatter is safe. Public order status is not a separate handwritten list. It is calculated from the internal union. If someone tries to pass internal review into the public formatter, TypeScript catches it before runtime. Now we show the best use case for this utility. Use exclude when you already have a broader internal union, but one screen, API, or function needs a narrower version of it. That keeps the public surface clear without duplicating the whole status list. In a real event stream, one handler should not know how to process every possible event. We define a larger app event union, then use extract to select only the events where the domain is billing. Now we run the script and only the invoice and payment events are handled. Let's break down the important part. Extract looks through each member of app event and keeps the ones assignable to the shape with domain billing. After the runtime check, TypeScript can pass the event into the billing handler with the correct fields available. Now we show the best reason to use extract. When your app uses discriminated unions, derive focused handler types from the main event type. This keeps handlers small, precise, and easier to update when new events are added. This final section focuses on class-based code. These utilities help factories and registries stay aligned with real constructors and instances. Test factories often duplicate class constructor types, and that duplication breaks when the class changes. Here the helper receives constructor parameters of email client, so its arguments stay linked to the real constructor. Now we run the script, and the factory creates a sandbox client with the passed values. Let's break down the type relationship. Constructor parameters returns a tuple of the constructor arguments, API key, sender address, and sandbox flag. The factory spreads that same tuple into new email client, so the helper cannot drift away from the class. Now we show where this pattern is strongest. Use constructor parameters for factories, dependency injection helpers, and test builders that wrap a class constructor. It removes duplicated argument types while keeping the call site fully checked. A plugin registry usually stores classes by name, but the rest of the app wants the objects created from those classes. We register Slack and email constructors, then use instance type to describe the notifier instances. Now we run it, and both implementations send their own notification message. Let's break down the typing. TypeScript Slack notifier is the constructor type, while instance type of that constructor is the object with the notify method. That distinction matters because registries store classes, but business code usually calls methods on instances. Now we show the best time to reach for instance type. Use it when your code stores constructors in a map, registry, or plugin list, but later passes around the created objects. This keeps dynamic creation typed without losing the instance API. Now you have 15 utility type patterns that make TypeScript cleaner, safer, and easier to maintain. Like the video, subscribe to Dev Level Up, and write in the comments which TypeScript topic you want next.